World War II was full of bravery, strategy, and daring naval operations. Battleships and destroyers roamed the oceans, engaging enemy fleets and protecting vital convoys. Among these machines of war, some became legends: the USS Enterprise, the HMS Hood, and the Japanese Yamato. They are remembered for their victories, courage, and might. But then there was the USS William D. Porter, DD 579. A Fletcher-class destroyer of the United States Navy, the Porter was famous for a very different reason. She was the unluckiest ship of World War II, known not for heroic deeds, but for disasters, accidents, and sheer bad luck. Her history reads like a series of misfortunes so strange that many sailors joked the ship was cursed. The William D. Porter's service was brief, but packed with incidents that would make any naval historian shake their head in disbelief. In this story, we will explore her entire life, how she was built, her strange misadventures, the accidents that marked her service, and how she earned a reputation as history's unluckiest ship. The USS William D. Porter was a Fletcher-class destroyer, one of the most numerous and versatile classes in the U.S. Navy. Fletcher-class destroyers were fast, armed with torpedoes, guns, and depth charges, and could escort convoys, attack enemy ships, and protect aircraft carriers. They were reliable, deadly, and well-loved by their crews, but the Porter would become the exception. She was laid down at the Federal Shipbuilding and Drydock Company in Kearny, New Jersey, in March 1942 and launched in August 1942. She was commissioned in January 1943, entering the Navy at a time when the U.S. was fighting across the Atlantic, the Pacific, and North Africa. Her namesake, William D. Porter, was a hero of the American Civil War. But the ship carrying his name would ironically become known not for heroism, but for misfortune. Almost immediately after entering service, the Porter developed a reputation for accidents. She was assigned to convoy duty and training exercises, but mishaps seemed to follow her at every turn. One of the first incidents involved a failed depth charge exercise. During routine training, the ship accidentally released depth charges too close to herself, causing minor damage. The sailors joked nervously about the ship being cursed. These early misadventures may have seemed minor at the time, but they set the tone for what would become a career filled with strange, unlucky incidents. The most infamous moment in the William D. Porter's history occurred in February 1943, during preparations for the Tehran Conference, where Allied leaders met to discuss war strategy. President Franklin D. Roosevelt was aboard the heavy cruiser USS Iowa, and the William D. Porter was assigned to escort him. While conducting gunnery drills, a tragic mistake occurred. The Porter accidentally fired a live torpedo toward the Iowa, which carried the president himself. The torpedo officer had misunderstood orders, and the torpedo ran toward the Iowa at high speed. Sailors on the Iowa scrambled to take evasive action, and miraculously, the torpedo passed safely ahead, missing the ship entirely. This incident could have been catastrophic. If the torpedo had hit, it might have killed the president and drastically altered history. Instead, it became a story of incredible luck, or perhaps proof that the Porter was fated to survive disasters that should have destroyed her. After the incident, the Porter earned a dark reputation. Sailors whispered jokes about her cursed nature, and her crew had to endure a wave of embarrassment and official reprimands. After the Iowa incident, the William D. Porter was reassigned to the Pacific Theater, where she joined battles against the Japanese Navy. The Pacific Ocean was a dangerous place for all ships, with kamikaze attacks, submarines, mines, and tropical storms. The Porter's misfortune continued. She suffered mechanical failures, grounding incidents, and accidents with friendly ships. On one occasion, she collided with another destroyer during a night maneuver, causing minor damage. On another, she narrowly avoided being hit by a torpedo from a Japanese submarine, a near miss that could have ended her career and the lives of her crew. Despite her problems, the Porter continued to serve. She participated in escort missions, amphibious landings, and patrols, and her crew adapted to her quirks, joking about her luck and learning to be extra careful aboard the ship. The William D. Porter eventually saw combat. She escorted convoys, provided anti-aircraft defense, and took part in amphibious landings in the Pacific. Yet even in combat, misfortune found her. During one engagement, she fired her guns at enemy aircraft, but malfunctioning equipment caused shells to misfire. Fortunately, no ships were damaged, but the event reinforced the idea that the Porter was a cursed vessel. Sailors on other ships began sharing stories of the Porter's accidents. From grounding on reefs to accidental torpedo firings, the ship became legendary, not for her victories, but for surviving disasters that would have destroyed other ships. Much of the Porter's story is tied to her crew. These sailors lived with constant tension, knowing that even minor mistakes could result in accidents. The ship's reputation may have heightened caution, but it also created stress and fear. Many of the crew became adept at improvising repairs, navigating dangerous waters, and managing equipment prone to failure. In this way, the William D. Porter trained some of the most resourceful sailors in the Pacific. Her unluckiness forged resilience among those who served aboard her. The William D. Porter continued serving until the end of World War II. Despite her reputation, she never sank in combat, a remarkable feat considering her accident-prone nature. In a strange twist of fate, her luck may have actually kept her alive. Disasters that should have sunk her were mostly minor, allowing her to survive the war intact. After World War II, the Porter was decommissioned in 1945. Her legacy, however, lived on in naval lore. She became the subject of books, documentaries, and stories shared by sailors for generations. The tale of her torpedo aimed at President Roosevelt remains one of the most infamous and bizarre incidents in naval history. The USS William D. Porter is remembered not for glory, but for misfortune. She serves as a reminder that in war, luck can be as important as skill or firepower. She also demonstrates the human ability to adapt. Her crew survived accidents, near misses, and mechanical failures to complete their missions. Historians consider her a unique case in naval history. Most ships are remembered for battles won or sunk. The Porter is remembered for surviving absurd accidents that could have ended her service at any moment. In the end, the unluckiest ship of World War II teaches an unusual lesson. Sometimes survival is itself a victory, even without glory or combat success.